Okay, so yeah, I'm going to call that gal this afternoon. And what's weird is the way I set up my profile. I almost deliberately tried shooting myself in the foot. I really downplayed everything. I don't try to make myself sound impressive at all. Basically, I come off as some sort of weird slacker in my profile, and I'm okay with that because I figure it sort of filters out all the gold diggers because yeah, I don't have anything to offer in that area. And as I said, I even told her, I told several women who made inquiries that I kind of was jumped the gun on going on one of these websites. I was kind of having a couple days where I was feeling good and confident, and I thought things were going to move along and improve because I got hired, got a job, and but I'm still in no position to actively start seeking dating. And actually, it's never worked for me at all in my life. Usually, it's circumstances, and that's how I end up being with somebody for whatever length of time. But my problem is I'm a tyrant, and when I get close to somebody, there's some need for me to argue, and I'm trying to work on that. I mean, I thrive on conflict. There's that, or I seek conflict, and I don't on some subconscious level. And there's a Elvis Costello song that I really identify with it, and one of the I think it's called Two Little Hitlers. Two little Hitlers fight it out until one little Hitler does the other one's will. And face it, in every relationship, I guess the healthy relationship is they trade off. But in every relationship, there is a dominant person. And I think what happens with me is the relationship starts where I'm trying to please that person. And so then she thinks that she's the dominant one. And then at some point I turn the tables, and that's when the conflict really starts. Yes, indeed. Because there was another great song, I think it was Depeche Mode. Sometimes I'd rather not be the one behind the wheel. And and I feel that way. I mean, in many parts of the relationship, I'm perfectly happy with her driving. But at some point, I don't know what gets into me. I go, you know what? I want to drive. And usually, the woman, I guess she assumed that I was going to let her always do the driving. No, no. Sometimes I want to drive, and sometimes I want to hear my music on the radio. And it's funny. My boss at work, and kind of out of nowhere, he just we have these mandatory meetings now, 10-minute meeting at the end of each day, which they're just silly. But anyways, we do it. We stop work and we go like for 10 minutes at the end of the day, and bring up any issues. And kind of out of the blue, he said something about how when he was married, and my supervisor is a former Marine. He said when he was married that he was mean to his wife, and he attributes that to his mother being a very strict disciplinarian. And I brought that up with him outside of work, and I said, yeah, I'm the same way, because how it started was he said, oh, make sure you go straight home. I said, what? He said, didn't your mom ever tell you that? Your parents ever tell you that? I said, no, frankly, no. Um, uh, Pretty much I was allowed to wander freely, pretty much most of the time. And we didn't really have a set dinner time either. I mean, uh, I grew up in a very undisciplined household. The funny thing, though, is that if my mother was upset about something, yes, we would get a beating. So it was a pretty dysfunctional family. There weren't clear boundaries, and when you overstepped that boundary that wasn't clear, you would receive a beating. So basically, I grew up with not exactly this strict discipline, but you see where I'm coming from. It's sort of in that category of a strict disciplinarian, except the boundaries weren't clear. And that created a situation where basically I have a lot of anger towards my mother. Always have. Maybe I'm starting to reconcile that. Years and years after she passed away, But I told Tim, I said, the secret is, okay, so we're angry at our mothers, and so, the secret is to seek out women that are angry at their fathers. And that's pretty much been my relationships, is, I think I've told you that before, is all the women I've been involved with have serious issues. A healthy couple is the son was good to his mother, and I've heard that. A lot of women go, what I found so attractive about him is how well he treated his mother. Yeah. And the other thing is that the woman has a good relationship with her father. My sister had a pretty good relationship with my father, and I think that's why she turned out relatively healthy, mentally or whatever. Can have healthy relationships, but her relationship with her husband isn't all that great either. And because we're old school, divorce is not, it's not really on the top of the list of options. It's way down near the bottom. So why am I talking about this? Yeah, I'm going to call this gal. Her profile and everything, I don't particularly find... her profile is kind of neat, but I'll be honest, her picture, I don't find her attractive. And the funny thing is, though, I sort of brushed off these women that were responding and said I wasn't really ready. I'm not really ready for this. I shouldn't have even opened an account. But she came back and asked again, said, so what's your situation? Are things better? And I said they're about the same, but what the hell? Let's have a chat. I should probably just close that account. So what else? Yeah. What else? Freaking drama on YouTube. John's Wacky World. Wacky John came by my Royal or the Fez channel to let me know that Real Man got his channel closed. Real Man and I don't get along. Particularly, there's so many different things. Face it, Real Man, you're just gross, okay? And you don't give a shit. And the what is the other thing? And politically, we're complete opposites. He's more of the Alex Jones, person. There's people I respect, like Ellen, who basically says the whole election thing is a farce. Why bother? I still don't believe that. It's complicated. It's not what they promise it is, but it still has an effect. It's still what we have in place. And unless we completely abolish the government and start over, I accept it for what it is. But Real Man's he's in that camp. But because of some other things that he goes on about, I don't even want to bother arguing with him. The 9/11 conspiracy is one of those things he jumps on. I'm not sure if he's one of those Rothschild New World Order types, Rothschild Bank. But one thing Real Man and I do agree on is not being tolerant of racism, and yet he's not. He only uses that litmus test towards his enemy. He turns a blind eye to people that are racists that are friendly to him. He does. I've seen that. I myself would rather not completely attack a person that I might consider racist. I would just say, face it, you're racist, but I don't want to hate you, and I don't want to exactly attack you on that. I'm just going to call you on it. Hell, I worked with racists, and I had to get along with them. And being tolerant is what liberals do, isn't it? But I don't want to jump on the hating Real Man thing. I really don't. I can't help but watch. There's one thing about this, and people have to understand. The people that want to ride the fence, and I've said in the past to Torp, I said, riding the fence, you get the best view when you're on the fence, right? Because you can see everything. But we can't, for those of us that are being attacked in some hate video, and we see a person we thought our friend leaving a positive comment, how, you got to admit, when, how many of you out there cannot say that's going to not bother you? You know? And there's people that, Monk, I consider Monk a good friend on YouTube. And I know I get a lot of flack about the whole, like Pops would say that, would make these whole things like, I'm sucking Monk off or he's sucking me off. And Andy says the same thing. And it's just bullshit, okay? Monk and I are friends. But we don't, and I've said this before, we don't agree on everything. Man, and you know, we do have some heated arguments over the phone. And a lot of the things that I like, he hates. But some of my friends on YouTube, he mentioned to me that he saw one of my friends leaving a positive comment on a hate video that was directed towards Monk. And Monk is pretty fast to dismiss these people, to block them or whatever. I try to give a little bit more time, but I see where he's coming from, and if one of my friends is hating on Monk, it's going to make it difficult for me to give that person 100% of my support. And that's the drama. That's the whole thing that wears you down. And there are people complaining, oh, YouTube is like high school. Frankly, and I believe this, okay? You go to elementary school. In elementary school, your kids, you tend to get along with everybody, pretty much. There's one or two bullies. But pretty much I remember being just as friendly with the Mexican kids as I was with the white kids. And but then you go to junior high, and that's when things start to change. You start breaking off in groups because you start hitting puberty, you start hitting adolescence. And then you enter high school, and the animosity may not be as open. Whoop, see?
Time to check the babbling.
Okay. On to part 3.